You're listening to the Second Look podcast, where we take a closer look at what we're learning each Sunday at Connection Church to help you grow in your walk with Christ. Here are your hosts, Pastor Joe Terreri and Pastor Dan DeRochers.
Welcome to the Second Look. My name is Tim.
And I'm Vaughn.
And we are here with another episode of This Week About Being Available. But first, Vaughn, how you doing?
Good.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Round 2.
2 for 2.
Yeah. I gave some of our other pastoral staff a hard time today because they were unavailable to be on the podcast.
Bad week to be unavailable.
Huh. Luis, Andrew. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I have a cough. Sorry, everybody.
Tickle in the throat.
Okay. Anyways, Vaughn,
I paid attention to the sermon.
Oh, good. Oh, excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Took notes.
So Joe started the sermon off yesterday talking about a really fun recent travel mishap, or not mishap, delay. You know, the classic airport flight delay fun. But I wanted to know, do you have any fun travel stories? Do you have anything you wanted to share with us today?
Yeah, I don't have no delay stories, but when I was 16, went to Hong Kong for a little bit with my dad, and then he stayed and I had to fly back on my own, which is super scary being 16 and like overseas travel for the first time ever, being out of, and everything's in Chinese lettering. So I had no idea.
All the signage.
I thought I missed my flight. Like I called my dad in a panic. I was just like freaking out, I tried to talk to this one guy, but he didn't speak a lick of English. So
oh no.
It was
like,
very
does
scary.
anyone speak English?
Yeah. And no one did.
That's fun.
It was fine.
That is stressful.
Yeah, for sure.
We just, one of our daughters who's 15 just came back from the Colombia trip. Shout out to the Connection Youth team that went to Colombia.
Shout out.
They came back. They're safe. They were not anywhere near where there were earthquakes this morning.
Oh, that's good.
So, but anyways, yeah, I can't imagine sending any of my girls, even together, on a flight from another country to here.
A lot of pressure.
But they do have, Google Translate's a lot better now.
Yeah.
You can just have your phone, you can just have your camera out now and just be pointing it at stuff and it translates it on the screen.
Yeah, we didn't have that
cool.
back in...
Yeah.
Well, it was like 2018.
Yeah,
2018,
not
wasn't it?
Yeah,
really. Not long ago at all, actually.
That's fun. International travel is fun. I gotta say, I've had layovers which were way longer than whatever Joe was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been in an airport for 8 hours before.
Man.
And there's been a few times where my dad's been like, "We don't have to be home. Let's give up our seats and get vouchers." Like, okay.
No
and
shot.
then we just hang out at the airport.
Oh man, we have no better place to be.
Yeah, no. Definitely not. Anyways. Okay. So, we're talking today about spiritual practice of being available.
Yes.
Right off the bat, Joe highlighted a bunch of moments in the Gospels where Jesus is stopping for people that others have overlooked. He went through a few stories: a woman with the issue of blood, the widow who lost her child, blind Bartimaeus, all these people that are overlooked, and he stops and has compassion. I just wanted to know, just personally, before we get too deep into it, are there any of these stories or others? There's tons in the Gospels where Jesus stops and has compassion. Any of those that just stick out to you as just, I don't know, personally?
Well, I guess it's not a story; it's a parable, but it's the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Oh yeah,
I think it's definitely on my heart a lot.
Yeah.
Just because it's what I love about the Good Samaritan is it's not a one-time act of compassion.
Oh yeah.
He, after this Samaritan cleans this guy up, helps him get some food, gets him money and sends him off. He's like, I'm gonna come back later and actually double check on you, pay off the debts, make sure you're okay. There's follow up.
Yeah.
Which I love about the Good Samaritan, that it's not just a one-time act of availability.
Yeah.
It's this Good Samaritan actually had he had this practice, and the practices are like the word practice means to do it multiple times.
Yeah.
So like
right,
he
right.
had this availability built in to his schedule kind of a thing, which is, I don't know, I just think that's like such a cool
Yeah, making
thing.
you made it a priority.
Mhm.
Like being available was a priority.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, it's all throughout Jesus' ministry, it's a priority. And again, that's why we're highlighting it in the series. I liked, Joe kind of talked about how Jesus, it's not like he had a lack of boundaries, that he was like so available because he just had no boundaries whatsoever. He did have boundaries. He's still, we've actually talked through and studied through some of the other spiritual practices. Some of them are getting away, just being with the Lord by yourself and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just wondered if we could talk for a minute on. I think there's a balance of having healthy boundaries, but also being genuinely open to people, to their needs, to the places that God sends us, where we don't expect He's sent us. So I don't know if the question is really, I don't know, how do you think we can still maintain some sort of boundaries but be open at the same time? It's kind of this like
Yeah, for sure.
counterintuitive thing.
Yeah. Dude, the word boundary, like, I feel like only got popular a couple of years ago anyway.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, so what do we really mean by boundary? And what it really, I think, comes down to is, are we Sabbathing? Like, is that, are we taking a day of the week to just say, like, hey, I'm going to not, I'm going to seek the Lord and do things that are restful and life-giving to myself. Because from there, like, if we have that moment of rest and recovery in the Sabbath, then that allows us to be able to do what the Lord is calling us to do out of the rest from that day of rest. And I think a lot of the guilt around boundaries that we're like, oh man, like, I feel like I should probably, be more available on this day of the week or something. I think a lot of the guilt comes from the fact that we're not being available all throughout the week. And then when Sabbath comes, there's the guilt of like, well, I wasn't available all throughout the week, and then come Sabbath, now I'm choosing to not be available, but I wasn't the entire week. So then there's guilt that hits with that. So the boundary is difficult to pin down, because it's not black and white. Yeah. And it's going to look different, and for everyone's capacity that's given by God to operate for the mission. Yeah,
that's good. And like, to speak on some of that more, you're talking about just the guilt or the piling up of like feeling like, I actually wasn't available. Joe talked about sometimes the reason that we resent interruptions is because we believe everything depends on us. So then it becomes on the flip side, then you're like, I don't want to be interrupted. Like, I have to do X, Y, Z, A, B, W, 3. You got the whole list. I don't know.
All the alphabet.
But it's so easy to fill our schedules. Like, life can get so busy and too busy, and then we get bogged down, and then we're forgetting like the basics of how to be a believer and how to walk in these spiritual practices that we're talking about through this whole series, and spending time with the Lord and being available to people. And so, I mean, I'd be interested to hear your take on just how can we recognize when we're putting pressure on our schedule that we probably shouldn't be, and letting that drive instead of letting the Holy Spirit drive.
You mean like letting we are the ones driving our schedule rather than the Spirit?
Yes, yeah.
Dude, yeah. And it births out of the quiet time that we have with the Lord.
That's good.
Like, this is really where our availability stems from, because it's not as much about physical availability as it is emotional availability.
Yeah.
It's really easy to more or less clear your calendar and be like, all right, I have no meetings today. I have nothing in the afternoon.
Yeah.
For me personally, when my calendar physically is free and I'm available physically, that's when I find myself tempted to be emotionally unavailable.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I got nothing to do today, so I don't want to expend myself socially, or I just want to kind of like go on the couch and just hang out for the day. Yeah, like check out because I have nothing physically. So the beauty of spending time with the Lord is that there is the physical availability that we have to give to God, but then there's also the emotional availability that then He gives to us through our time with Him, which then fuels us to be able to be emotionally available for people throughout the day. And not just in a physical sense of like, hey, I'm there physically, but I'm there emotionally. Because there's a huge difference between physical availability and emotional availability. We know that like when you're with your kids at night and with your spouse and you're just like not paying attention to them. I think Joe kind of talked about that with like sitting at the dinner table and people are on their phones or something. It's easy to be physically present and available, but it's difficult to be emotionally available.
Yeah.
And so the question really is then like, okay, well, how do we like get emotionally available to be ready to give our best to people for the glory of God?
Yeah.
And again, it stems back to, well, you got to be with the one who was emotionally available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exodus 34 verse 6 says that God is a God of compassion. So like this is His nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we want to grow in compassion, was one of the words that Joe kind of used in his sermon. If we want to grow in compassion, the best way to do it is to get with the God who is compassionate.
That's good.
And as we spend time with a compassionate God, He then aligns our heart to His heart, the will of the Father, which is compassion and mercy. So it's really, it stems from that quiet time with the Lord. And I think when we start to just think like, okay, I got to be available, which means I got to do more and have more things on the schedule, and the boundaries on my schedule will go out the window. No, that's not at all. Like what we're saying is spend more time with the Lord to allow yourself to actually be willing to.
Yeah. Because
Romans 12, sorry, I'm just going off. Romans 12 says the gift of mercy is one of the spiritual gifts, and that gets translated to compassion. But it says if you have the gift of mercy, do it cheerfully. Yeah. So if you have this gift of compassion within you, which is a spiritual gift, which means that we receive it from the Spirit.
Yeah.
We don't construe it up. It's from the Spirit. If we have this gift, we are to use it cheerfully, not like, oh yeah, I got to be available today. Got to be compassionate today.
Yeah, I got to hand out a backpack or whatever.
Yeah. It should be a cheerful act.
Yeah.
But we don't construe that up in and of ourselves. That is something that is truly only given by God, from the Spirit of God, as we spend time with Him and align our heart to His mission. I think that kind of...
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think just to zoom in on that a little bit more, just the idea that Joe talked about kind of our heart health. So he talked about, if you're trying to get physically your heart checked out, there's tests you can do. You can get an echo, you can have an EKG, you can do a stress test and get, all these different metrics back healthy, and this is great, this looks good. But it can be tough though to measure like our emotional, like heart health, or if our heart's aligned. So we're talking about our hearts being aligned with the Holy Spirit. I don't know. So, but what do you think is something that we can do to help kind of exercise our spiritual heart to be more compassionate?
Mm-hmm.
So spending time with the Lord, I think, is one that you hit on.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you think that we could be doing to exercise our heart to be more compassionate and kind of stronger in being aware even that God is pointing somebody out to us, or trying to get us to stop and take a break, or so that we can be available for somebody. Is there anything that you would say, like, this is something we could do?
Yeah. Prayer is definitely, I'd say, number one, right? And we like glance over that because it's like the cliche Christian answer. Like,
Yeah.
Well, prayer. But like, no, it's you actually can't determine your heart without it, because Psalm 139 says, test me and know my heart. Jeremiah 17 is the heart is deceitful above all else.
Yeah.
So without prayer, without the help of the Spirit, we're never going to know where our heart actually lies in compassion.
Yeah.
Then the second thing it would be, I think the relationships that are closest to us is a really good determinant of where our compassion lies.
Okay.
Not the relationships of people outside of our circle that we rarely run into, or we run into once in a blue moon, or we pass them on the street and we never see them again.
Yeah.
A really good determinant would be the people that we are in close proximity with on a daily basis: spouse, kids, parents, in-laws, siblings. Because those closest to us are really the ones who are, we have the most opportunity to be available to them. There are so many opportunities to be available to the people closest to us. And again, Joe kind of mentioned this about, like, I really do think it's so important that we begin this practice of availability with those closest to us.
Yeah.
And then it'll bleed into, the people at work, and then it bleeds into people, on the street. But man, if we can't get down like the marital covenant of availability and just saying, like, when I get home at night and I'm physically present but not emotionally present because I'm on my phone scrolling, and I'm not asking the questions of my spouse and trying to understand their concerns and their worries and their fears and being attentive and careful to my spouse, well, then how are you going to do it to some random person?
Yeah.
So I would say assessing our relationships that are closest to us and how available we are to them. And a lot of that availability is just emotion. Like, how much emotion can we really pour out onto our family? And if you're in a season where you just have less emotion to give, we go through those. Like, there are moments in life where we're going through a difficult season and we can't give out emotion.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to have people around you who can, in those seasons, pour into you, and you give them opportunities to be available to you.
That's good. Yeah.
So there's going to be seasons in your life where you're available to people and you pour into them. And then there's seasons where they're available to you and they pour into you. Yeah. And that's one of the awesome things about having Christian brothers and sisters around you.
Right.
So
yeah, being in community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so just not to challenge part of that, but to kind of expound on that a little bit. What do you think? For some people, naturally, it's really hard to let others pour into them, right? It's like really hard to ask for help, or it's really hard to be open. And so, I don't know, what would be some advice for someone who's trying to be in community, but they're just naturally not a person who's like open to letting people help them and pour into them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As harsh as it sounds, it really stems from pride.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's a posture of pride in your heart if you don't want people to help you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to receive help when you need it.
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to be the one to receive ministry is a posture of humility, and the Lord honors those postures of humility when we come to him and we say, Lord, I can't do this on my own. I need you and I need your people. And it's a very humble thing. And the Lord says that he's close and near to the humble in heart.
Yeah.
So he shows up in those moments when we just admit our need for him and for his people.
Yeah. All right. So one of the questions, this is kind of what we've been talking about, but the question that Joe posed in the kind of more the beginning, the middle of the sermon, about how do we become people who are available for God to use. Some of these points we've already talked about, but the 3 points align your life with the Father's will, which I think in talking more, it's definitely like prayer and the Word are super important for that aspect of it. Loving people more than your plans. That can be a tough one. Why do you think it's harder to love the people close to you? So when we're talking about
that's so good, dude.
When we're talking about start with the people close first, like your spouse, your kids, your family. Why does it feel like when it's family, it can be so much harder sometimes?
Yeah, because you see their sin.
That's it. Yeah,
you see their sin. The people that are closest to you see your sin, and you see their sin very clearly. Like you can't. There are things that get exposed in marriage.
Yeah,
there are things that get exposed when you have children.
Right.
Right. That are very easy to hide on a Sunday morning. So that's why it's very difficult, and why we would really encourage begin with the family unit and work your ways out from there, because it can be really easy to show up on Sunday and be available to serve in the cafe or on the parking team,
right,
and do your shift and then head home and then be totally unavailable to your spouse and your kids for the entire day. And so one of the hardest challenges is to be available to those closest to you. It can be way more harder than doing a mission trip where you're out for a week serving people and pouring out, and then you go home at the end of the week and it's like, all right, for the next week I'm just kind of hiding in a room, and I'm not serving anyone, I'm not caring for any of my close loved ones. So I think it's a matter of seeing their sin and being aware of it, and then in light of their sin still having to love and serve them.
That's good.
It's easy to love on Jesus because he's perfect. It's hard to love on people because they are imperfect.
That's good. That's good. The third point from the message yesterday, trust your Father with interruptions. So just before we go, I guess, is there any other kind of practical advice that we could give to people listening just about being more trusting with the Lord and being able to trust him with those pauses where we think nothing's happening, or the brakes that he's putting on the car while we're trying to tell him to take the wheel, but he's putting on the brakes. Trusting those interruptions with the Lord. I don't know. Is there anything that we can do?
That's really good. And to tie it back to availability, a lot of it is that availability in the Lord's eyes is a test. So it's so much bigger than the conversation you're having with somebody. It's so much bigger than 3 p.m. on a Tuesday at the water cooler and you're chatting with your colleague. It's so much bigger than the phone call you're about to take to follow up with somebody who showed interest in your product. It's so much bigger than a conversation with your spouse. It's so much bigger than a conversation with your kid. These are moments that the Lord brings into our life that are tests to see whether or not we'll be obedient to him. And it is very easy to pray, Lord, make me available. Right? Like, I hope we're praying that every day. The difficult thing is when rubber hits the road and we have to be available. And it's not within our guidelines of what we wanted. But the Lord is testing us to see whether or not we'll be obedient to the prayer we just prayed of, Lord, make me available. So just kind of having this idea of Hebrews 12 in our minds, that there's a great cloud of witnesses watching. And when we're interacting with people in our lives, all of heaven is watching how we interact with that person that maybe annoys us a little bit and we don't want to, have a super long conversation with. The Lord is like, hey, I want you to be obedient to me in this. And He says in his word, if you're faithful with little, you'll be faithful with much. And so a lot of what these opportunities of availability are is they're really just tests from the Lord to see whether or not we're going to be obedient to him.
Okay, yeah. And those tests, like, a lot of times the Lord is sending tests our way because it's part of refining us, part of preparing us for something else, or asking us to take on more in a certain aspect of our lives that we feel unprepared for, or but yeah, he tests us, and
he tests if we're going to trust him or not. I guess to tie back to your question, it is a test of whether or not we will be faithful, and a test of whether or not we will trust that he has the better plan in mind.
That's good.
Because it's easy to get caught up in, well, Lord, I'm pretty sure I should be doing this, or I'm pretty sure I should be resting right now. I'm pretty sure I should be, not peeling off the road and stopping to talk to this random guy on the street. But it's like the Lord says, no, like I'm leading you in this way because I actually want you to learn to trust me because I have a better plan for you, but you need to be obedient to that.
Yeah.
As you're availing yourself to me.
That's good. Yeah, and I think thankfully, like, we can get the Bible in English. We don't have to worry about trying to translate it from Mandarin.
Yeah.
When we're on this journey of life.
Which is so much easier in 2026.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I just realized my Apple Watch has like a text-to-speech translate, and it says it out loud.
What?
Found it out 2 days ago.
It's right on, you're like, it's literally on my wrist.
Would have been so nice like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
That's all right. Well, this has been another episode of The Second Look. You can find this sermon and so much more at cometoconnect.com. Have a great week.